Unit 10. Sir Cecil Spring-Rice, Day. Listening. Male voice. I'm a journalist and I meet many interesting people. Yesterday, I met Andy Turner, an expert on 20th century poetry who is writing a book about the English poet Sir Cecil Spring-Rice. This is what he told me. First, I asked Andy where the poet had grown up. He told me that Sir Cecil Spring-Rice was born in London in 1859. He was the son of a diplomat. Then I asked him if he could tell me about Spring-Rice's career. He said that after getting a degree at Oxford University, Spring-Rice had become a diplomat and had spent time in North America. He became friends with the future President of the USA, Theodore Roosevelt. His work then took him to many different countries. I asked him which countries Spring-Rice had worked in. He said that he had been a diplomat in Japan, Iran and Russia. He had also worked in Cairo. He then became an ambassador, and returned to the USA to become the British ambassador to the United States in 1912. Then, I asked what he had done as an ambassador to the United States. Andy Turner said that while he had been in the USA, Spring-Rice had persuaded the president that the United States should help Britain during the First World War. They did this in 1917. Unfortunately, Spring-Rice died a year later, in 1918, aged 58. I asked him whether it was true that he had helped students at Oxford University. I then asked Andy if he could talk about Spring-Rice's writing. He said that Spring-Rice had written poems throughout his life, although they were only published after he died. He also helped to translate many Persian poems into English. Finally, I said that Spring-Rice had clearly been a busy man. I asked Andy why the ambassador had written poems. He said that he had probably found writing a good way to relax and also to express his feelings and ideas. Many people say that it's easier to express a feeling or an idea in a short poem than in a story.
Day. I am busy, said the sea. I am busy. Underscoring of me. Making continents to be. I am busy, said the sea. I am busy, said the rain. When I fall it's not in vain. Wait and you will see the grain. I am busy, said the rain. I am busy, said the air, blowing here and blowing there. Up and down and everywhere. I am busy, said the air. I am busy, said the sun. All my planets, every one. No, my work is never done. I am busy, said the sun. Sea and rain and air and sun, here's a fellow toiler one, whose task will soon be done. Paraphrase. The first verse, the poet here talks about the sea and its role in nature and the work it does. It builds up the continents on which we live. The second verse, the poet here talks about rain and its important work it does. The rain doesn't fall usually, but when it falls it helps our food to grow in the fields. The third verse, the poet moves to the role of air blows everywhere and in all directions, cooling down the weather and carrying clouds and helping us to breathe. The fourth verse, the poet goes on explaining and continuing to describe the work of the nature. He talks about Sun and says that its work cannot be denied and that all other planets know the importance of the work. He also said that the work of Sun is never finished, otherwise there would be no Earth. The last verse. In this last verse, the poet describes himself as a hard-working friend and compares between his work and the work of the sea, rain, air, and sun. The poet ends by saying that man's work can come to an end, but the work of nature cannot be ended. The message of the poem is that the sea, the rain, the air, and the sun will continue to shape the earth long after our lives are over. Definitions. Ambassador, an important official that a government sends to another country to manage relations with that country. President, the official leader of a country that does not have a king or queen. Throughout, during all of an event or period of time. Will, a legal document in which you say who you want to give your money and property to after you die. Fellow, a person doing the same activity as someone else. Grain, wheat or a crop used for food. Toiler, someone who works hard. Toil, someone who moves slowly and with difficulty. Downpour, a heavy rainfall. Personification, it means describing a thing or object as if it was a person.
Aged. Ambassador. Applicant. Joking, kidding. Blizzard. Career. Clearly. Cliff. Continent. Dam. Degree. Democracy. Democratic. Difficultly. Manage. Official. Over. Persia. Persian. Personification. Personify. Persuade. Persuasion. Persuasive. Planet. Poem. Poet. Poetic. Difficulty. Diplomat. Document. Downpour. Draft. Drought. Earthquake. Electricity. Embassy. Expert. Extreme. Fellow. Flood. Fluent. Follower. Poetry. Population. President. Presidential. Property. Rainforest. Rainy. Relations. Represent. Republic. Rhyme. Rhythm. Shelter. Snowy. Surprise. Forever. Fortunately. Gale. Global warming. Go round. Government. Grain. Grandchildren. Hostel. Human. Inquire. Inquiry. Joke. Landform. Legal. Teenager. Throughout. Toiler. Tornado. Translate. Unfortunately. Unlike. Unwilling. Verse. Volcano. Weather. Well organized. Will. Willing. Windy. Prepositions and expressions. A degree in. Ambassador to. At midnight. Be able to. Break up. Compare to. Compare. With. cut down, expert on, form of, grow up, a busy man, build dams, in vain, knock down, on the floor, pour down, protect from, replace, with, rhyme with, spend, with, the president of, translate into, turn on off, official leader, Persian poems, extreme forms, get a degree in, manage relations, rainfall, research trip, solar system, busy plus being, cause damage, continue forever, do a task, sunrise, sunset, express his feelings, become / be friends with, Democratic Republic of Congo, shape the landforms, 20th century poetry, terrible floods, you must be joking.
Language functions. Expressing surprise. Really? I find that surprising. You must be joking, kidding. You wouldn't, would you? Never. That's incredible. That's amazing. I don't believe it.